today's video, I thought I would share with you guys 10 weird pregnancy symptoms after making a list of all of the things that I went through and cutting stuff off because nobody needs to hear me talk for more than 10 things. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Sana. I am here in my big comfy chair. Reminds me of like the Big Comfy Couch. Anybody watch the Big Comfy Couch? I loved that show as a kid. This is my nursing chair, and so I thought it would be appropriate for my pregnancy video. I am not pregnant. I've seen a lot of these videos and they're all like, I'm 39 weeks pregnant. I have 2 kids. I've been pregnant twice and they're both boys. Before I got pregnant, I thought I knew everything there was to know. You get pregnant, you throw up, and that's how you know you're pregnant. And you just want to eat everything, you have mood swings, and then you give birth and you're good to go. I had some unrealistic expectations. So 2 pregnancies in, I can tell you with certainty that all of those things can happen, but in between, there's an entire rainbow, but a lot less jolly, of things that can happen to you that you wouldn't even think have anything to do with pregnancy. But it's awesome and you're gonna love it and you're gonna love your baby, and so it's totally worth it. I would definitely say it's worth it, but is it awesome? Probably not. I'm going to share with you 10 symptoms that I experienced personally after making a list of all of the things that I went through and cutting stuff off because nobody needs to hear me talk for more than 10 things. On TikTok, they're always saying, follow for part 2, follow for part 2, because I have many more symptoms that I can share with you. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. So let's get started. What is wrong with me today? Why am I like, it's hot here. Anyways, let's get started. Who am I pointing my finger at? TMI, so just a warning. If you're not interested in TMI about my pregnancy or pregnancy in general, or you'd like to believe the first part of pregnancy that I told you, then you should probably leave right about now. So number 1 is tinnitus. So tinnitus is a term that I never knew existed until I got pregnant. It started around 5 to 6 weeks pregnant, basically like a week or 2 after I found out I was pregnant. I started having this like ringing in my head, and it was just this light ringing, and I'm like, okay, I've never used white noise in my life before, so I turned on some white noise at night and I was able to drown it out. By 20 weeks, it had progressed so much that it felt like an ambulance inside my head. They did a CT scan on me to make sure I wasn't like growing something up there. And there was nothing. They were just like, you're just pregnant. The doctor told me after the first trimester, it'll go away. The doctor lied. I had it till like 30 weeks pregnant, and it did go away, to be honest. It did. So it does get better, but that's something I never knew you could even have. So the second thing I want to talk about is migraines. Also something that I knew what a migraine was, but I had never experienced it. So I just thought it was like, oh, it's a really bad headache. It's not a really bad headache. It's like a headache on steroids. Numbing pain that would make me crazy dizzy. I would have crazy vertigo. I would not be able to stay in a room with lights for hours. I actually had to like go in my bed and lie down. Like I literally like almost passed out with my child in my arms a few times. Never had migraines before in my entire life. And you can't take Advil. So they actually had me take Advil for the first like half until like 24 weeks or something. They were like, you gotta just take Advil because you need it. And that's just how bad my migraines were. We're like, don't worry, it's safe until now. And I was like, but everyone tells you Advil's not safe. So number 3 that I want to talk about is allergies and skin conditions and just all those things. So I've always had severe eczema my whole life, but it's never been as bad as it was when I got pregnant. And I've often heard of women talk about rashes or like just these random skin things, like even acne, entirely just hormonal and just the pregnancy that's causing these things. My allergies also went crazy. I got allergic to eggs after my first pregnancy, and after my second pregnancy, that went away, and then I got allergic to literally everything outside. While I was pregnant, I could not walk to my car without breaking out into hives. So number 4 is sinus infections. Like, I've never even heard of a sinus infection before I got pregnant either. So maybe I've just been too sheltered and I haven't had these things, and so like they were weird to me. Maybe they're not weird to you and you're just like, wow, what's the big deal? But I've never had a sinus infection before, and apparently I looked it up, and pregnant women are more prone to sinus issues. So I got a cold and then I got a sinus infection. Treated that with antibiotics and it was fine. And a couple weeks later, I got super sick again, and I got pneumonia, and nobody believed me. That's a story for another time. Number 5 that I want to talk about is lightning crotch. So appropriately named, it is basically shooting pains up your vag. And it is just really uncomfortable, and you'll just be like a-okay 1 minute, and the next minute you'll be like on the floor because it hurts so bad. And so that was another thing that I had. As you progress in your pregnancy, your lightning crotch gets worse and worse because the baby actually likes to kick you in your cervix or rub their head straight into it. Yeah, fun stuff. Okay, so number 6. Is this number 6 or 7? Another thing you lose with pregnancy, your brain. So number 6 is night sweat. In my first trimester, I would wake up in the middle of the night at like 4 a.m. and I would just be drenched, like soaking wet. Like I needed to either go shower and like change all of my stuff if I wanted to sleep comfortably, or I just slept in it and just got super cold. And it wasn't because it was hot, because like I said, my pregnancies were in winter. I love how every reason for anything pregnancy related is just, it's hormonal, don't worry about it. And I love how doctors also talk to you about like pregnancy symptoms, just like, oh, it's okay, it's because you're pregnant. And it's like, okay, but this is really bad. Like, can you help me with it? And they're like, no, you're just pregnant. And it's like, I know I'm pregnant, but I still need help. So number 7 is crazy vivid dreams. Now, my husband already makes fun of me because I have crazy dreams as it is. And I always remember my dreams too. Like, I've even had dreams where I like had dreamt a friend is pregnant, and then I message her and she's like, no, I'm not. And then like 3 months later, she's like, actually I was pregnant, but I just wasn't ready to tell people. Like, it's weird that you knew. And so I already have weird dreams, but when I'm pregnant, they're like on another level. Like, I have like dreams that I wake up like exhausted from, and I remember all of them, and they're all like just wild. Like the wildest of dreams that you can think is what I come up with when I'm pregnant. And this is actually a pregnancy thing. It's not just me. It's probably crazier with me because I'm crazy to begin with, but it's definitely a pregnancy thing. So next we have snoring. So like apparently it's totally normal, but as you progress in your pregnancy, you just start snoring more than you normally do. And it's just like, I just snore, and it's like super loud, and I can hear it myself too, and it's just like, you just have trouble breathing when you're pregnant in general, and so like I guess it kind of makes sense, but yeah, you're gonna snore if you haven't before. And so number 9 is pelvic girdle pain. And this is also sometimes called like pubic symphysis, like that. And it is really uncomfortable. It is like a pain that you get in like the core of your pelvis. Like you literally feel like your bones are on fire, and it happens anytime you sit or move or do anything. And the only thing that helped me with this was pelvic floor physio, which kind of like changed my life in it because it was really, really difficult. And as you get more and more pregnant, it gets worse and worse. So I definitely recommend taking care of it early on. Apparently it gets worse with every pregnancy. So by the way, pro tip, apparently if you have it, then you want to give birth not on your back, because that will make it infinitely worse. And so if you have it, try to give birth on your knees. So the last thing is the funnest, which is like diarrhea and constipation. So like from the minute you get pregnant to like the minute you give birth, you're constantly like up and down with this. You're like, sometimes you have diarrhea and sometimes you have constipation. Diarrhea and constipation, diarrhea and constipation. And it's just like, regular bowel movements are very hard to find in pregnancy. It's always really tough to like have good bowel movements, no matter like what you're taking and like how much you're like regulating it. It's just really difficult. And so another thing that comes up with that, which is so great, is you get constipated and then you get hemorrhoids, which are basically like cysts that you get in your private parts, and they just kind of feels like you're trying to shove something out of there and it's not coming out because it's inside your body and it can't. And so yeah, and those stay after you get pregnant, after you give birth too. And they go away eventually, hopefully. I mean, they should. And I know for someone, like for me, it was never painful, it was never uncomfortable, it was just like, whoa, what is that? But for some women, it's actually painful and uncomfortable, and if it is, then you should see your doctor and get help. That's it. Those are my 10 pregnancy things that I had. Let me know if you guys have had any of them, or if you guys have had any different ones, because I have heard of many, many different ones, like restless leg syndrome, and just like, you know, I never threw up, so that was great. That was a big plus. I hope this video was useful for some of you. If you guys are going through any of the same stuff, then please know you're not alone and that it's totally normal. And it stopped my recording, my camera. my camera thought I was talking too much. So I'm going to end this video here now because my camera has told me that, you know, like Netflix tells you, like, are you still watching? And you're like, yes I am, stop judging me. So my camera is judging me too now. And so I'm going to stop, even though I'm still talking. So I hope you guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe down below. It really does mean a lot to me, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!